welcome everyone. Welcome back to Three Slips and Silly Points. We've got our main guys back. We've got Chai on with his Indian top, which we're going to talk about. Place it in a place for a while where we don't see it till we get this new series that we're talking that the scriptwriter is talking about. We've got Raj back, second slip, and I'm back on third slip, and all the silly points. And I promoted myself from the technical glitch that I had last time, so hopefully this time things are a little better for me. So we've got a pretty packed episode. Obviously, we'll talk about the game, which was very frustrating. Uh,
To be honest, at this point, I don't care much about the game. I just want my holiday.
that's true.
I spent a lot of time watching cricket, and
That's
now I
true.
need my time back.
And we'll also talk about the South Africa series. Well, sorry, the people who are already confirmed in the WTC final. We're just waiting on who else may join them, which may be Australia. And also the biggest thing, it's our 50th episode, people. We made it.
Yay.
So thank you for sticking around for this long.
50,000 subscribers will mean you make it, Randeep.
We're congratulating on the consistency. Now we just need the people to come join and just that's right. Give us feedback.
Yes.
Let's interact, have fun. But we'll kick it off with India versus Australia. And the whole series really just has been. I think first test showed us a glimpse that look, it's doable, right? Like except for Coley. Coley has got some sort of mental block. That's a different thing. I'm going to park that aside a little bit. I think with new captain, some new players, there was a glimpse. Rest was just seemed like a squad, not a bit of an aging squad, but just there are quite a few problems. Quite a few problems.
Yeah. It's how we speak in all the tournaments that
Yeah.
teams peaked, and I think we peaked in our first test, and then it was a downhill from there.
And Adelaide, I understand. Adelaide, like, is difficult to beat Australia, right? Like, which is it's their game, it's their thing. But Gabba was similar, right? There was a lot of rain delay, but we still like day five. I think we could have done it if rain was not there, but it would have been that same scenario as MCG day five, which was a 1 day type of style where, right, like 200-300 runs, and we could have done it, but rain there. Day five, we lost. Yeah.
Yeah, but like now on top of that, we never got to bat consistently long enough. Like we never got to bat 30 overs on the trot. So the batters just never got settled. So Gabba, let's give them a pass. And regardless, that result didn't really matter.
Still, yeah.
Draw. Like we didn't lose.
By that time, it was 1-1. So yeah.
Right.
I mean, if we bring back to just the Sydney test, right? Looking at a green top, I would have thought any winning captain would have decided to bowl first. But that bold call of having to bat first, knowing that even on a good condition pitches, we did not survive the entire 90 overs.
In Sydney,
Sydney,
did you say, Chai?
Yeah. First.
I think that call was made on the thought of like, hey, this is a Sydney pitch, but it wasn't a Sydney pitch. Like when the comms asked Pat Cummins, like, what would he have done?
Yeah,
and he said the same thing. Because So,
it's definitely not a Sydney pitch, but I mean, anyone that looked at that surface, that green top would have default gone in. All right, I think this is an anti-pattern. Let's not stick with the regular approach and pick bowling because I'm sure it would have been a different ball game altogether with Bumrah on that fresh green top.
Yeah, but like to me, the problem wasn't even the toss, right? Because I feel like we nullified the toss when we got them for lesser runs in the first innings than what we had scored. So that first innings essentially India
absolutely.
won.
Yeah.
But it's the second innings where it felt like they just rolled over. They're like, oh, we don't want to bat. We just want to quickly get out of here. No one really applied themselves. And for some reason, like Gill, who had taken the captain's spot in the 11, just
Oh,
charged the bowler down
That
and
it's not just
had a
Gill. I
net.
think everyone
it was an
everyone that
aggressive.
came in, and then like we were chatting, Gigi must have told, pep talk before second innings. We really don't know who's going to be
Yeah.
in and out after the series. So just go there, play your natural, enjoy yourself for one last
No,
time in
but
Australia.
that's what I was saying, right? That's what I
That's
was
I feel
essentially
messaging
like
you
how
guys. I'm like,
everything
this
was.
is day two, like, right? Like, why is this so aggressive? We have so many days, so many days. Like Jaiswal, look, he made 22. He
Yeah.
looked good, but again, he was aggressive also, right? Like he went down the pitch.
I
I
wouldn't
feel like I
say
feel like
Jaiswal
two
scored a lot because of 50% of his runs
Yeah, that's
came in
right.
that first
That
over,
is true.
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
And those three back-to-back boundaries to
four.
yeah,
Stack
yeah.
was sideline. Oh, four.
Yeah.
That's it, right? And then
Struggled.
rest
Yeah.
he barely scored. I think the only guy where the trick worked was Pant. And again, it's miracle as to why any of those hits were not miscued into someone's hands.
But no, no. So let's assume they sacrificed two players
Mm.
to get quick runs, and that was Jaiswal and Pant, right? But I feel like there had
Oh
to be a
yeah.
limit of like, hey, we're gonna go aggressive, and these two guys will go aggressive, and everyone else will play
But
around them. But I feel like Jaiswal was aggressive. Rahul went for shots that he didn't play
mm,
in the other games of the series, so he was trying to bat aggressive. Gill just ran down, so he definitely tried being aggressive.
yeah,
Bunt was, I mean, ultra aggressive. So now that's top four gone. I'm not even counting
that's different.
Kohli
It's a different
because he
story.
just
That's
walked
yeah.
out and walked in and walked out quite quickly. Um, but to be honest, the only thing I liked was when he got out, he was actually mad at himself.
Hmm.
I kind of felt like he should have been like that from the first time he got out like that because um, that would have been
Yeah.
like that would have egged him on to actually like apply himself more, which he tried
Yeah,
really hard. It felt like at least in this innings.
fifth time is the charm for the first
He,
four
he
times.
he should have seen my recent reels because everything is right now on my Instagram reels. It's just Cody playing the same shot, but his foot angle is slightly different. He's pinging it off the back foot, and I was just like,
Uh,
but again, like whatever's done is done. Like I wanna. That's what I'm saying, right? Park Coley aside,
yeah.
but for rest on day two, you're being so aggressive. You like got a what was the lead? A five or six, right? 5 or 6 runs from the first innings, I think. 4 runs, right?
Four
Yeah.
And
runs.
you're being so aggressive, and you have so many days, and you've got bowlers such as Boland and Cummins, especially Boland, who like is cleaned up India, in this series. Why are you letting him? Like, yes, you don't want to him settle,
Yeah.
but
Plus,
damn,
uh, plus, I think the ball that Yashasvi Jaiswal got off of Boland was, I think, virtually
oh
unplayable.
yeah,
Like it
any
could have
better?
been any
Yeah,
better. That batter would
Hmm.
have been bowled on that ball. So I feel like I'd still give Jaiswal a benefit of the
mm,
doubt. It's the other players that I'm just like, how are you so aggressive and for no reason, really? Like
Uh,
imagine if we'd gotten 80 more
oh yeah,
runs. Like it's not just that we have 80 more runs, it's more the
yeah.
amount of mental application they would have to add on.
yeah.
And knowing
And
we didn't have Bumrah in the last innings, like they must have known, right? Even though we didn't know, they must have
yeah,
known
I
that Bumrah
think
wasn't playing.
the dressing room would have known that a long time ago
So,
because
so they
he
Yeah.
walked
need
away at
to,
the end of first innings, right? He didn't wrap it up
yeah.
as well.
That's what
So,
Khwaja said.
So
That's what
again,
Khwaja said in one of
it
the interviews. He's like, once we
it
heard that Bumrah's out, I think it's when they were about to go into bat, that he's not going to be bowling. He's like, okay, look, we've got a pretty good chance. And that was the truth. And we saw our
oh
bowling
yeah.
for that second innings. They got hammered.
Oh,
Oh, no, not
Bumrah.
they weren't hammered though. Like
Mm.
in the first 4 overs, they gave out close to 36 runs, and half of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
runs, or more than
Or
half of the runs, came off of
Well,
extras.
again, but that's lack of
extras, yeah.
discipline.
So no hammering had to be done.
Ah,
Like it was
Yeah, I
just so
think
bad.
from bat they were very few. Sam was
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
charging
yeah.
in and doing the usual stuff. Khawaja was also fired up. Just to, given Bimro was not
They
there,
punished
the
us.
side
They
is
punished
unsettled,
us.
and
Yeah.
they just want to make sure that the whole conference is out so they could have an easy sail through to the finish line. But yeah, not having Bumrah meant, that was like 50 less runs. But the score of 160 would have been equivalent to like a
Yeah.
200 plus, had Bumrah open the innings, right? And other thing
But
that Bumrah
to
would have
be
done is that contain those additional whatever 20 odd runs that we gave away in the first 3 overs. Imagine going into lunch, 3 down or 4 down for 35 runs. They went in for 3 down
Seven,
or
yeah.
4 down at
70.
7. That would be 30 less runs. And, the whole mental pressure of, you're trying to win BGT and, fourth innings, small target, and you're already 3 or 4 down.
Yeah, but the thing is, Bumrah not bowling is actually a massive achievement from the Australian side also, because it just also means that they made
Mm,
him bowl so much in other games that he
yeah.
like wasn't available to be bowled when it came on
Mm,
the latter half, and that's what we're talking
Yeah.
about. What India should have done
correct.
with
Yeah.
Pat Cummins and Stark, and I kind of feel like if you look at numbers, right, and how many overs Bumrah bowled, he probably would have bowled about the same as what Cummins or Stark would have bowled in total. But I think because he was so potent in other games, he didn't get
Mm,
as much breaks. And
Yeah.
like people
And
like Labu just made him play so much because those dot balls are just so key.
and the other bit is also India not having a genuine fourth pace bowling player,
mm,
pace bowler. We've stacked up, even the Sydney Test was stacked up on a green surface. We had two spinners, and who barely took the ball. And if you see the overall series, we had spinners for namesake, and they weren't operated at capacity. You've seen likes of Anil Kumble bowling longer extended spells on the same, Aussie wickets. You had other spin bowlers. You had Ash bowling longer spells. But in
it was
this Test
pace.
series,
Yeah.
and it goes for both the squad. It goes for both the
Mm.
squads. It's not just India, but it's also in Australia. I think this is probably first time I've seen Nathan Lyon so underutilized by Australia in Australia.
That's just because of the
Mm.
nature of the pitch, right? And I don't think we were going with like two spinners, right? I think Washi was just playing as a batter.
Yeah,
We wanted more batting, and that's why Washi was there. And if we wanted a pace bowling option for the fourth option, we had Nitish Reddy,
Yeah.
and that's as good as it'll ever get as a fourth pace bowler.
yeah,
We'll never have an out and out pace bowler,
yeah.
like four pace bowlers like playing in the same 11. Um,
Uh,
but I think
well,
Boomer did
Yeah.
lack a lot of
100%.
support though.
100%.
That's why he got knackered by the end
he
of it.
was he was the lone hunter on one end, and everyone were just leaking runs. Whenever we needed a wicket, he
Yeah.
comes back,
I think
and he is the
see,
bowler who's bowled the maximum
Yeah.
in this entire series from India.
yeah, I
Right?
mean he
He's
bowled on
bowled,
every single day he was available for. So
yeah,
except the last
and
day,
and
he bowled on every single day of the series.
which is ridiculous considering workload management and
Yeah,
and
but that's the point our batters need to learn, right? Where if a bowler in your team is bowling on every single day
Mm.
the series is played on, that means you haven't actually um,
To give them rest.
batted
Yeah.
long enough.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
absolutely,
because the idea is whenever
That,
your 11 starts batting, ideally your bowler should not like touch the field for 24 hours.
mm,
That's the idea.
mm,
In Test
yeah.
yep.
cricket,
Yep.
you want to give them that long of a break where hey they can fizz you up and be
Because
ready
we never got to that.
to
We're
fire the
getting,
next
I don't
time.
think
yeah,
I don't think we've
that
had
consistent.
consistent. I mean,
We've never lasted a day.
Day five,
Even
oh,
yeah,
even
and
literally,
Sri
and
that's
Lanka.
like prime example. That pissed me off so much.
except for that second innings in the first test where we've had
Oh
that
yeah,
really
yeah.
long opening partnership between Rahul and Jaiswal, we barely survived 10 overs without losing a wicket.
Yeah.
We have consistently lost at least minimum three wickets every
Mm.
session. And for those key sessions where we sort of survive the whole session, we lose wicket at the last ball just before. And then, and yeah, a new player comes in at the start of innings, and I think it's a rinse and repeat
Two
story.
things. One is
Yeah. Yeah.
that little glimpse, right? Like you're talking about Perth, where we had a pretty good session. So I'm curious on why that was so different as compared to all the other days. Like, what changed? Why did we get so aggressive? We were just like, are we just now selling seats and giving trying to get more people in and make it exciting, or we actually wanted to win? Because that's a fair, again, like I know that's not a likely one, but
For
So,
me,
wait, so you're
no,
talking
no,
about
not
the
Sydney.
last
So
day in
like what
Sydney?
Chai just said, right?
no, no, first
The
test,
first test
first test.
where KL Rahul and Jaiswal, no, Jaiswal got out early for that one, didn't he? He got out.
Yeah, then
No,
Rahul,
Jaiswal.
Rahul and Jaswal,
They
both
stuck
of them.
yeah,
around, right? That was a bit more
192 run
test.
partnership.
Like as I said at the start of the series, I'm surprised you don't have Pujara. You need Pujara. I don't get it, but that's a different story. But like you need someone like that for a test game. But then that did not happen for the rest of the test.
Yeah,
As Chai said, we at least lost 3 wickets before lunch, and then like a couple of wickets tea. It just did not happen.
That's because in the next two games,
Oh
Jaspal
yeah.
got out
Well,
very
poor.
cheaply,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that exposed the other side of our 11, which isn't as consistent.
this again. Gill is a specialist opener, right? Just before this innings,
No,
Gill is
but
an
he
opener.
asked to come one down. It's not the 11. He
Fine.
asked to be put into that position.
Well, there you go then.
There you go.
Then
So it's
yeah.
Gill
So
who
yeah,
wanted to
essentially,
come at one down.
so you didn't have an opener that could see through the new ball. You're one down.
We chose to
Who's an
be. Yeah.
ex-opener could not play through. Kohli, and his love for the fifth stump, sixth stump ball just continued that love affair. I mean, the number of reels I saw on that, Kohli can stay away from Chole Bhature for almost 10 years, but he can't let go of a fifth stump bowler. Like that
Uh,
cracked me up completely.
Now the last meme I saw was because you know how he's gone back to London
yeah,
after
yeah.
this
the
test series,
wagon wheel.
huh? No,
I
not the
said the
wagon
wagon.
wheel. It's that. It's like they're like, oh, Kohli's finally dropped from the England's 11. And then they show the Champions Trophy 11. I mean, 15
Mm.
for England. Yeah, those are funny.
talking talking about Kohli in England. Now I said this interesting stat: Australia just need 20 penalty points, and Sri Lanka has to win the series 1-0, and India gets a chance. There's still hope.
Oh my God.
Now,
uh,
so I feel like two other highlights for me were Pat Cummins in the series. So I actually think Pat Cummins should have been the player of the series,
Oh yeah.
not Bumrah.
yeah, yeah.
Controversial thought, but
And I
uh,
think it's a valid call because he not only contributed with the bat, with the ball, but he also played
Yeah.
a key
Every single time.
every single
innings with
time,
that, and
every
and
single innings.
and his captaincy as well, right? He's juggled all three
Yeah.
in the series. Yeah, Bumrah was the captain for the first and last test, but we know it was. With a
Yeah.
fast bowler being a captain, you're sort of standing. Got to take a break between the overs, and there was someone else marshalling the crew. Pat Cummins had the same problem, but he's seen through. And every time they needed a wicket, it was Pat Cummins that was giving
Mm.
them.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
Stark would get
Yeah.
your frontline batters straight away, but when there was a partnership, 8 out of 10
Yeah.
times it was Cummins that was breaking
So
it.
for us, Pat
Yeah.
Cummins is our player of the
And
series. Good.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Bumrah did get unbelievable amount of wickets, but whenever they
Yeah.
were in trouble, like 'cause the thing is that middle order, Mitch
Mm.
Marsh was a
Yeah. Yeah.
walking wicket for the whole series. So as soon
Mm.
as Mitch Marsh got out, it would be
Yeah.
Carey and then it'd be Cummins, and whatever runs they would expect Mitch
Cummins would
Marsh to
make.
get,
Yeah.
I think Cummins just did that for them. So in the last game, they actually changed Cummins from a bowler to all rounder because he'd done so well. And I agree, he was so good.
Oh, it was pretty
Um,
good.
yeah, and also having BGT means he's got all the cups possible.
I think this was even going into the start of the tournament. The whole conversation was the playing 11, the Australian playing 11 or Australian squad of 15 have never won BGT and it's been a decade that BGT
Yeah.
India
Yeah,
was holding on to BGT as well. So
yeah,
it's a great psychological win for the squad as well. And
yeah.
Cummins can now take that off. He's got Ashes, he's got BGT. think the only other one that he's now going to aim is Champions Trophy. um, yeah.
And let's be honest. I mean, South Africa is going to have a hard time facing Australia in the finals. Like they even asked Bavuma, how are you feeling facing Australia in the finals?" And then be like, and he was like, "Ideally, I wouldn't want Australia in the finals, but it is what it
Yeah,
is."
Now,
look at
have
South
you
Like
Africa right now,
Bavuma.
right?
yeah Bavuma or Cricket South Africa is now trying to organize a last
Oh
minute
yeah, like a
game,
practice game,
either against Scotland or Ireland, whoever is available,
or Afghanistan.
or even
Where's
Afghanistan.
this?
That'd
Oh,
be great.
I missed this. I missed
Anyone that
this.
Uh,
travels,
yeah,
yeah.
to get
So they
used to
a
the
practice game.
UK conditions. They want to have the game in England, so they can get used to the conditions leading into leading into WTC
Oh,
finals.
try to get a bit more competitive team because Ireland and South compared to South Africa might be a little bit easy because Australia's not going to yeah,
I don't
Yeah,
but
think
no
but
one's
I
anyone
think
free.
else.
Probably no one's free.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else is going to be
no, but no
exactly
one's
this
gonna
last.
go like
Just be
just
like,
help. Yeah, like
hey, give me chances for the final. Yeah.
You
so.
know,
My
it's what
second.
for Team
Go on.
India to get a quick test, at least to give a bit more batting practice to Kohli and Rohit against South Africa. Would be nice. We should volunteer.
They're all going back to Ranji Trophy. They're all.
No, because it's too close to
Hmm?
IPL.
Oh,
That's true. They won this at the end of IPL. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
yeah.
true.
no.
Yeah.
So my second highlight was Bo
Oh,
Webster's
oh
debut in
my
the
God.
last game.
Oh,
Oh man.
High impact, high
Oh,
impact.
all three, right? He was great with the bat and
yeah.
scored some really crucial runs.
Um,
Amazing catching, right? So good in all slip positions. And his bowling as well, right? He's tall and the ball talks. It was just unlucky that he did not get a wicket in the first innings, but second
But
innings he did show.
no, but the thing is, like in him, he bowled so long
mm.
that he gave enough breaks, which they didn't get when Mitch Marsh was playing either.
Yeah,
So which allowed these guys to be fresher on a very potent pitch.
But he wasn't
exactly.
leaking
And
So
runs
I,
that
I,
much,
I
right? Like even
reckon, yeah,
he gave him a break, which
yeah,
is good, and he
exactly. That's
wasn't
why.
leaking that many
That's
runs, right?
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. But that's why he could give them the long breaks, right? So I think that was a massive plus because I also think this game would have been way more
Michi,
competitive if it
yeah.
was Mitch Marsh in his dull form. Um, like
Mm.
I honestly missed
Plus,
him.
I want to get credits to Michi. Credits to Michi.
and
Obviously, when I don't know if you guys saw when Webb got his new hat,
Yeah, he was real
he
nice to me.
congratulated the whole family. Again, hats off to him. But yeah, pretty
No,
good.
he
and
is a good guy, but like
No, no,
that's
it's
not the
not. No, no,
point of
it's not.
this.
yeah,
Yeah,
the other key is Scott Boland. Oh my
Oh,
God, this guy, for comparison purposes, Pat Cummins played all 5 tests and he picked up 25 wickets. Boland played only three and picked up 21. It was a nightmare facing him. We thought Josh Hazelwood is going to be
I think
tough
he's
guy,
tougher.
and this guy just comes in. Oh man, his line and length, his consistency. I don't know if you guys have seen the graphics of Scott Boland's first
Yeah.
ball in all the games. So accurate, right? To the left-handers, it actually pitches in the same area as well, which is consistency.
but the thing is that's why. But the crazier part for me is, come Sri Lanka, if Hazelwood's fit,
Yeah.
Boland would still miss out. Because on paper, Hazelwood's on par or a
Yes.
little bit better than
Yeah.
Boland.
Yeah, and this has
So
always
the
been the
only so, so,
case
so the
of
so,
this is
so the
sorry, this has
only
always been
go
the
on, go
case
Yeah.
on.
for Scott Boland. He's that temporary high performance player that if
Main guy goes down. Yeah.
kick, core team drops,
Yeah.
he comes in, and you would think,
Yeah.
he's a
But it's
part
still
timer
core
or
team.
he's a
It's still
10th player.
like
I'm like,
the high
he
impact team. Yeah.
smokes it, he smokes it, and he's so unlucky that he gets dropped the moment the
Mm.
main core team is fit.
Yeah, but I feel like so if if I was to drop anyone, it would be Mitch Stark because
Mm.
relative to other bowlers, I think he's probably the weakest link out of the whole quartet. But you need him because his left arm swings it in and super potent at the top, which is crazy.
And
he's so good.
Also for Sri Lankan conditions where the ball's going to do a lot of talking, you need someone to rough up the pitch on that right place. So it's only a left-hand bowler that could do it. So I don't think Stark is going to be dropped, but highly likely.
When's that? How far is that particular
And
series?
it's
not far. It's very soon.
2 to 3 weeks time.
I was just thinking about rest time for all these guys because they've got all the fast bowlers. But again, that's enough.
Hazelwood's been ruled out, so I think.
Oh, still ruled out. Okay, in terms of injury. Yeah. Wait, talk about injury. Did we get an answer for Bumrah's injury? Like, is there any more details? Oh, okay.
No.
Because I think so. When that happened, I was listening and I was just like, oh, okay. And the people were saying, sorry, people saying I think they went to hospital just to see how bad the injury is and if it's just something that it's only for this test or the next series that are coming up, they may have to rest him a little bit longer. So
they might rest him for the England series just because they wanted the Champions Trophy,
which is happening in Pakistan. Oh no, wait, it's not happening in Pakistan.
But I think
so it is. But just the Indian games,
Indian games are in UAE.
So I look at the schedule and they haven't announced where the finals will be.
Now they have roughly earmarked for UAE/Lahore. So
exactly.
the way they have called it out is finals is in Lahore, but if India UAE makes it, we're gonna play in.
So how are they selling the tickets?
They won't until
it's gotta be
until that.
Which is crazy because usually you should be able to buy all of these tickets regardless.
And the way they have strategically done the first, one of the semifinals. One is happening in Pakistan, and one is happening in Dubai. And if India makes it, India's going to play in Dubai, and this brings back the whole memories of how T20 World Cup. They said, India already knew where they were going to play their semifinals. Like it's the same story all over again. Like India know exactly where they're going to play their semis in case they make it.
Wait. So another thing, the other joke that's going around is since Gautam Gambhir's taken over, we've lost against New Zealand at home 27 years. We did the Sri Lankan series loss after like a very long time. It's like another
we won one of
years,
it.
Like something like that.
We've
lost.
Yeah.
No, so the T20 series we won.
So
but
it's
the ODI,
when Dravid started, right?
series
Dravid was the other way around. At that time, there was a stat. There was
I remember. BGT was lost after 10 years.
Yeah.
And apparently India hasn't lost a T20 series against England in 10 years.
In 10 years, yeah. So I've seen this. So, I think there was some statement from Rohit or I can't recollect who that inner records are meant to be broken. And then they put that up, and then Gigi's task is to break all the records. So, all right, we have a long-running streak at home. Let's break it. We want BGT.
Do you think after this series there would be serious question marks of like? Obviously, already right now everything's question mark.
I don't think nothing till Champions Trophy is done.
Okay, that way.
I think after Champions Trophy, Champions Trophy, and before the England Test series, which is logical. You've got that huge break of IPL. I think that's where everyone's going to go back and reassess. Because, by then he would have completed 1 year, 10 year, or almost 1 year, 10 year as well. And if you look at his report card, there's lows. Only.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's not that he's inherited a squad that has been struggling. He's inherited a squad at their peak time. So...
But like, I also can't blame him for like Punt getting out the way he got out in Perth. That's just how Punt plays.
Yeah. See,
you can't blame him for Shubman Gill running down the wicket.
I think there's a lot to fix.
It's probably See, I mean, I get your point there, Raj, but as a
Sorry,
coach,
I've got one more. You can't blame him for Kohli
Uh,
edging
fifth,
to the fifth
fifth
ball.
stump. I mean, all your points are completely valid, but the bug has to
mm,
stop at some point, and it has been historically the coach. You go back all the way to 2000s, right? Every time there's been a poor performance, the player gets dropped, and every time there's an aggregate of poor
yeah,
performances, the coach gets axed. So, and
The, the
we've
the difference here
got the
was the captain got dropped from the test
rested,
match.
yeah, the
I
rested,
mean,
captain
sorry,
gets
opted
rested,
out, opted out,
rested.
opted
Yeah,
out, opted out, opted out, opted out.
so you could already see that the player axing has commenced, but I think the next step and logical next step is to basically relook at the whole
yeah,
squad. Do a bit of introspection as to where, how, and part of it could also be, or there'll be some things that Rahul Dravid or Ravi Shastri has done better,
yeah. Correct. Yeah,
because this is the same squad that strived, that delivered maximum results under them. We haven't
Well,
had
it's
a
not the same
massive.
side, right? It's actually fairly big because we didn't have Shardul Thakur, we didn't have Hanuma Bihari, no Pujara, no Rahane. Like these are big names that
Yeah,
they're
but
not
they,
part
they,
of
they,
the squad anymore.
they've
And like when you think
succeeded.
about it, they had a player who would score 50 runs off of 350 balls to a player now who charges down every 10th ball.
and that's a stark difference,
But
and that is a stark difference for a
that's
test
but
game.
these
That's a stark difference, right?
these
Like to
players
me,
have
to me,
disappeared for a while, right? It's not that Gambhir made them disappear. They were out
Mm,
of the key selection for nearly a
yeah,
year and a half,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think
After the
after
yeah.
the
BGT, yeah.
previous BGT. But it's it,
So
irrespective of not
Gambit,
having them, we
I,
did
I,
deliver
I
quite a lot
also
of results.
I also heard rumors that before BGT, Gambhir did ask for Pujara to be selected in the 15,
The selectors.
and he had some pushback
She
for
just
it.
looked at he was playing county at that time, right? He was playing county at that time. Oh my God, frustrating. Just frustrating. Yeah.
It's crazy life. But again, just a rumor. We have no clue if that actually
No,
happened.
but I don't know if you guys heard. Yeah.
But I actually think the biggest culprit for me in our batting, it's Kohli and Gill, not Rohit, not Rahul, not no one else. I think Gill and Kohli are the two people because
Mm,
one guy got
yeah.
out consistently the same way for about 5 games, close to it. Let's assume we remove that 100 that he got and find 4 games.
Yeah.
Um, and Gill, he always settled into a score. He got 20 odd, and then he would just throw his wicket away. Like you can't score a 20 off 30 balls or 35 balls or 50 balls. Like you basically can't play close to 50, 60 balls, score 25,
Oh,
and just throw a wicket and leave.
I'll sim
At one down. One down's meant to be the
and I'll
best batter
simplify with
in your
that. After
team.
watching that, Gil is not a test player. Simple, right? After watching that, that's not a test position.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Uh,
there's people like Iswaran in the squad who can sit on the pitch for a very long time, but they're
Mm.
just not flashy enough names to make the limelight to be in the 11. That's the sad
mm.
part.
Look, that is yeah. We could go on and on. We could go on and on. There was a little thing about the
The,
pitch.
sa- the
I was hearing about Sunil talk about the pitch. If this happened in India, where it was like 10, 15, 20 wickets that were that occurred in a day, right? Like we had that struggle. Everyone would have been like, "Oh my God, the pitch condition. Oh my God, ICC should look into this and this." But this happened here, same thing, right? We had a high turnover of wickets on day one.
well, I mean, it did happen in India, but no one said anything because it was India that got out for 46. So India can complain about the conditions
No, no,
when
but
they're
he
making
wasn't.
the
Yeah,
conditions.
Sunil was complaining, but he was just saying like what the reports in media like they will say like, "Oh my God, look at this pinch ranked worst or whatever rank," right? But no,
Yeah, but I think India's made their reputation around
yeah,
not
and that's what he
complaining
said
about the
after. Literally, he
pitches.
said that after.
Mm.
He's like,
So
that's about like other countries that do complain about, but for us, it's like this is what we've been given. Suck it up and like if you want to be a player, you should be able to adapt to anything. That's how we summed it up, and which is the truth, right? Like you've got other people complaining. Ours is okay, that's a pitch. We can do training grounds, training matches, or these India A versus, and we still cannot win a test after Perth. I mean, just stop crush heavy.
Nah, I still think, like, I don't mind the loss in Sydney. I just feel like in the second innings, we just didn't apply.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
just in a hurry. Wanted to quickly get out of there.
I mean,
If the result was the same, if they even got the same total, but they just all played close to 100 balls more, it would have felt a bit more, I don't know, like
It wasn't a test game.
a bit
It
more
wasn't a
worth
test game.
it,
They
I
didn't understand
guess.
5 days.
I think, except for the first test and the fourth test, there were hardly instances where India survived 100 overs across two
Yeah.
innings.
Oh,
Right? That in itself is lack of application. Your temperament to test has to be different to how you play your T20s or one days. I think that application has been lacking all around. There's a lot of introspection. I think the next test for India is not until May.
I'll go a little while.
So we've got
Go
good
a little while.
4+ months. Most of it is going to be shadowed by Champions Trophy and IPL. But I think in the background, this is probably the time to do a solid introspection. Some of the things that we've always been talking about, and a lot of people are now pitching for it, is the importance of county cricket,
Domestic, yeah.
domestic cricket. They all need to get back to domestic. If you're not, if you've got if you're not able to resist the temptation of a fifth innings ball, or
Fifth
if
stump,
you're not
yeah.
able to stay in the
Yeah.
pitch more than 30 balls.
But the thing is, now that Kohli isn't playing T20 internationals, he should play Ranji Red Ball, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
so I think I sent it to you guys, right?
Sachin's
Tendulkar played his last Ranji game in 2013. Then how can Kohli play his last Ranji in 2012? Doesn't make any sense.
If the other day I just Googled Kohli returning to Delhi in Ranji, and it pulls up the scorecard from 2012. Nothing else. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh my
yeah,
god, that's almost a decade old. And I get it. If you've got a very busy, packed international schedule and you're playing all three formats, and also you're in a good nick, it all makes sense. Which he's been for a while. But when you're out of touch, when you're out of
Wow,
nick,
for a
yeah.
you're not
while.
for a while, and you're not part of all the squads. You've given up
Mm.
on T20s. So your calendar should free up quite a bit now, and this is where,
Yeah,
especially,
Yeah.
you're out of form, right? And the only way you can get back in form, nets is not going to help. You got to be on the pitch in the middle, irrespective of the grade, right? I mean, he should probably even go and play in that, the big Mumbai grounds, just so that he
yeah.
gets a bit of in the game, feeling. And that's the only
Yeah.
way. The more
Because
time you spend is the only way you get
And if he doesn't
your
want to travel
form back.
far, just play county.
because
Just it's down the road for him. So just
no, but you know the downside of Kohli right now is that it's not just that he's getting out to the pace bowlers. His spin game has also gone down. That's why he couldn't score runs in
I,
India.
I I think we've all
Mm.
realized that there's some sort of huge
It,
mental block that it's like because you look at his previous game, like the stance and everything is slightly changed, and previous thing, right? Like there's a something there.
it's a and the only way you can get out of it is feel the ball
Yeah.
on the bat for longer duration, and you nothing can do with nets, right? Nothing can do with a bowling machine. You practice,
Hmm.
you practice, which is good, but
Yeah,
you need to be in the
Yeah.
center of wicket, spend long hours on the pitch in real game
and
simulation.
like the issue isn't even that he's not in form, right? It's that he's hogging a spot where he's
Mm.
already 35, 36 years old, and he's averaging 30 runs in the last 15 to 20 odd
Yeah.
games, or probably even longer. And he's basically taking that spot off of someone else who's in their prime.
Yeah.
Mm, absolutely.
That's the because the thing is, let's assume we let this guy come into form, right? But how many more years will he give you? not that
Yeah.
many. Whereas if you put in, and that's why I think it's more criminal to have Corley, even in comparison to Gil, because Gil is still
Mm.
in his early 20s. He's still going to give you 10 more years
If
after
he
he
fixes batting
comes.
for test, if not, I would not put him for test. That guy just yeah. No, but I get what
Yeah,
you're
but
saying.
like,
I get what you're
yeah,
saying,
but
right?
regardless, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Like
he's still
yeah,
22, 23. This
35.
guy is
Yeah.
already at the end.
His fitness is bloody
So
great. His
why are
fitness
we
is
waiting for
still
him?
there, but what are you going to do with fitness with
What are you going
batting?
to do
Yeah,
with
correct.
fitness if you can't bat?
Yeah. He can run around, give water for like the whole day, 90 overs.
Oh,
No, no.
hey, with the way we are
Well,
playing, we don't play
That's right.
90 overs,
Oh
man.
my
He's
God.
just gonna run around.
Talk about day five on MCG. That pissed me off so much. Just that's I just cannot. Yeah, that was just frustrating. But look, I think we all understand just how frustrated we are with this series. And again, it's part and parcel, right? It's the game. Like we're gonna scream at India for a while. They'll obviously introspect and try to change a couple of things. And we'll see, if there's improvements. But we'll see when India comes back or when the next VGT is, and might be earlier, with the try series that they're thinking about, or this two tier series with the test that they're thinking about. India and England play a bit more often, so that's this early report at the moment. They're doing some sort of test series type thing. But again, I think India's got.
I think some countries are just really dark that South Africa is into the finals after playing 11 games, and they haven't had to go on tour massively to win.
Ah,
When I say some countries, I mean England mostly, because they've played 22 games, so they've
Mm,
doubled the amount of games that South Africa's played, and England's actually toured everywhere else also, and they've won way more games than South
lots
Africa,
more.
but they've also lost a lot more games than South Africa. Um, but I honestly just feel like they should just give value to the series and not the
Mm,
games individually. So that way, it just becomes more fair. I think because England lost 4 games in India when they came to India, and that's already put them out because losing 4 games is massive.
yeah.
but yeah, I think we're all in the same position. We're all very sour, very frustrated. A lot to look forward to is a lot of cricket. We still haven't talked about the South Africa Pakistan second test, which was a bit of a surprising one for
Oh my
Pakistan for
gosh!
me on the second, like their follow on. But we'll talk about those games in the
Same as
next series,
well.
and the Afghanistan Zimbabwe game, which was interesting, which was very interesting. So stay tuned. You know the usuals. We've got our previous video up here. Like, subscribe, share. And again, it's our 50th episode. So, come join. We made it, as in say consistency, but we just now need people coming in, sharing videos and everything. But thanks again. Tune in for the next video. Thanks, guys.